This girl was engulfed in a massive fire for a full day and night. Not only was she unharmed, but she also emerged with 3 baby dragons by her side. She is the mother of dragons, Daenerys Targaryen. By now, Daenerys has grown into a beautiful woman, her clear eyes filled with hope for this world. Her brother Viserys forces her to marry Drogo, the Lord of the Dothraki, in exchange for 40,000 horsemen to help Viserys reclaim the throne. Daenerys worriedly tells Viserys, "I don't want to be Drogo's wife. I just want to go home." Viserys replies strangely, "Home? Don't you think I want to go home? But our home has been stolen from us. How can we return? I must lead a great army to slaughter them all. Even if the Dothraki's 40,000 horsemen, including their horses, torture you, I would agree." Daenerys has no choice but to obey Viserys. She is also given 3 petrified dragon eggs. These 3 eggs will make Daenerys the mother of dragons. Drogo gifts her a white mare, and so their wedding is complete. After the wedding, the Dothraki clan does not go to the continent of Westeros immediately. They have no ships and can only return to the Dothraki territory, the city of Vaes Dothrak. Along the way, Daenerys learns from a handmaiden that dragons have long been extinct, but she still diligently cares for these eggs. She also asks her handmaiden how to win Drogo's heart. Daenerys gradually adapts to the Dothraki life. She begins to learn the Dothraki language and has her handmaiden teach her the art of seduction. Daenerys learns quickly and soon conquers her husband, Drogo. Sensing Daenerys' status in the Dothraki clan growing while he has no prestige with them, Viserys becomes very annoyed. "I am the true king," he angrily points his sword at Daenerys. By now, Daenerys is also very dissatisfied with her brother, but doesn't want the Dothraki to harm him. Daenerys also begins to realize that even if Viserys were given an army, he wouldn't be strong enough to lead them. Thus, they would never be able to go home. Soon, Daenerys becomes pregnant. The Dothraki have a tradition where the wife of a Khal, when pregnant, must eat a raw stallion's heart. After Daenerys eats the horse's heart, her status among the Dothraki is further solidified. Viserys, seeing how well loved she is by the clan while he is treated like an outsider, becomes enraged. It seems that relying on Drogo to reclaim the throne is impossible. He prepares to steal the dragon eggs to sell them and raise an army, but just then he is discovered by Jorah. Viserys, furious and having had too much to drink, gets drunk and disrupts Daenerys' celebratory feast. He even points his sword at Daenerys' belly. "I just want what is mine, the crown that Drogo promised." This enrages Drogo. He agrees with Viserys, saying that everyone who sees this crown will tremble in fear. Viserys smiles with satisfaction. After he lowers his sword, Drogo immediately orders his soldiers to restrain him. Then, Drogo melts down his golden ornaments. Viserys, seeing this, immediately cries for help. This time, Daenerys does not speak up for her brother. Her eyes are firm as she watches Viserys receive his molten crown. He was no true dragon. Dragons are not afraid of fire. That day, she mentions to Drogo the idea of crossing the Narrow. See to reclaim her throne, but Drogo disagrees. What the Dothraki need are war horses, not the Iron Throne. The scene changes. Jorah receives a letter of pardon. It turns out he was a spy planted by Robert Baratheon in Daenerys' camp. At that moment, a merchant prepares to gift Daenerys a cask of poisoned wine. Jorah hurries forward to stop it. Unbeknownst to him, a spy like him has already sworn allegiance to Daenerys. "My moon of my life, are you all right?" Hearing of this, Drogo is furious. "I have done nothing to you, yet you want to harm my wife and child." Finally, Drogo agrees with Daenerys. He will lead his army to Westeros to help Daenerys reclaim the throne, a gift for their unborn child. To help Daenerys ascend the throne, they need a lot of money to buy ships to cross the narrow sea. So along the way, Drogo kills and plunders to gather funds. Daenerys, seeing this, cannot bear it. She saves a witch. At that time, Daenerys did not yet realize that this act of kindness would bring her immense suffering. Daenerys' action dissatisfies his subordinates. One of them openly challenges Drogo. Although Drogo wins, he is badly wounded. At this moment, the witch who was just saved steps up, saying she can treat Drogo's wounds. Drogo's men disagree, but Daenerys insists on letting her treat Drogo. Just a few days later, Drogo's wound becomes infected, and he collapses. Drogo will not survive the night. Jorah wants to protect Daenerys and tells her to leave immediately. Because the Dothraki only worship strength, once Drogo dies, they will quickly choose a new Khal. The first thing a new Khal does after taking power is to slaughter the family of the old Khal. Daenerys does not want to abandon Drogo. She calls the witch again, telling her to save Drogo at any cost. She says she can save Drogo, but it requires a life for a life. Then she uses magic to save Drogo, but he turns into a vegetative state. Daenerys' child is also stillborn. She confronts the witch, asking why. Finally, the witch laughs and reveals the truth. It was all her plan to avenge her lost loved ones. She even prophesies that Drogo will awaken when the sun rises in the west and the seas go dry. Looking at her husband, so diminished, she knows that if Drogo could choose, he would not want to live on like this. So she cries as she smothers, Drogo ending his life. When cremating Drogo, Daenerys places the 3 dragon eggs and the witch on the pyre with him. Then she lights the fire. Despite Jorah's attempts to stop her, she slowly walks into the blazing inferno. The next morning, the fire has died down. Jorah intends to collect her remains, but is shocked to find Daenerys completely unharmed. The 3 dragon eggs have hatched into 3 baby dragons. It turns out she is a true daughter of the dragon. Everyone kneels one by one. From then on, Daenerys becomes the mother of dragons. But a new problem arises. The Dothraki have always served the strong, so as soon as Drogo died, most of the Dothraki left. The only ones who willingly submitted to Daenerys were a few people. With only these people left, they wander the desert, in search of a safe haven. The white mare that Drogo gifted Daenerys also collapses. If they don't find food and water soon, they will all die here. Daenerys instructs a few skilled subordinates to split up in 3 directions to find food and water. Very quickly, a horse returns, but its rider is missing. Jorah steps forward and finds a bundle. It is a human head and a braid. Clearly, this was the work of Drogo's former subordinates. They considered it a disgrace to be ruled by a female Khal. Although Daenerys was enraged at the time, she didn't know what to do. A few days later, another subordinate returns with good news. A 3-day journey to the east will lead them to Qarth, a city ruled by 13 merchants known as the 13. At the city gates, the 13 do not believe that dragons truly exist. They also do not understand Daenerys' current difficult situation, demanding to see her 3 dragons first. Daenerys refuses. A spice merchant reveals his cunning face. He insults Daenerys in front of everyone and then turns to leave. By now, Daenerys is no longer the girl who could be easily manipulated. She shouts in anger, 13. When my dragons are grown, we will take back what was ours, punish those who have forsaken us, and drown you in a sea of fire. After being powerfully warned by Daenerys, Xaro, one of the 13, steps up to vouch for her, admiring Daenerys' courage. Thus, the city gates are finally opened, and the Dothraki have a place to rest. The young dragons have learned to breathe. Fire. Drogon can now eat on its own. That evening, Xaro hosts a welcome banquet for Daenerys. He takes her to a vault, saying that King Robert is dead, and now the 7 kingdoms are in chaos, making it a perfect time to lead an army to conquer. The wealth in this vault is immeasurable. As long as Daenerys agrees to marry Xaro, he will share half of the treasure with her, helping her seize the throne. After returning, Daenerys tells Jorah everything. Now she needs ships and an army to attack immediately. Jorah says that Xaro is a merchant, and merchants never make a losing deal. She cannot blindly trust anyone here. He agrees to find a ship and a captain to help Daenerys leave this place. I would be very eager to meet that captain, Khaleesi. Daenerys, impatient and not wanting to marry Xaro, goes to ask the 2nd richest merchant in Qarth, the Spice King, for help. He doesn't think Daenerys has the ability to easily reclaim the throne. Daenerys is insulted once again. Not knowing what to do, she returns to her residence, only to find her soldiers and handmaidens all killed. The dragons are also gone. Where are my dragons? Jorah hears the news and rushes back. He feels very guilty. Following a lead, he and Daenerys go to meet the 13. What they learn is horrifying. The warlock says he has stolen the dragons and locked them in the house of the Undying. Before Daenerys came to Korth, Xaro and the warlock had made a deal. Xaro would help the warlock get the dragons, and the warlock would help Xaro become the king of Korth. After saying this, the warlock slaughters the other members of the 13 and demands that Daenerys come to the house of the Undying. Jorah stabs the warlock, but unexpectedly he only stabs thin air. Jorah advises Daenerys to leave this dangerous place. He has found a ship, but Daenerys has long considered the 3 dragons her children. As a mother, how could she abandon her children and leave? They are my children, my only children. Next, Daenerys goes to the house of the Undying. The warlock uses magic to separate Daenerys from her people. Daenerys follows the sound of the dragon's roars to a circular room surrounded by many other rooms. She opens a door and sees the Iron Throne she has always longed for. As she is about to sit, she suddenly hears a child's cry. She enters a tent following the sound. A man is sitting on the bed holding a child. It is her husband, Drogo, and the child she never got to meet. It was all so beautiful. After experiencing that dream, though reluctant, Daenerys still leaves. As she opens the door, she sees her 3 dragons chained with iron. She has fallen into the warlock's trap. He binds Daenerys with magic, but he underestimated one thing. The dragons can breathe fire. Daenerys gives the command, Dracarys. The 3 small dragons breathe fire in turn, burning the warlock to death. The chains also turn to ash. After rescuing the dragons, Daenerys goes to find Xaro. His handmaiden is also there. She betrayed Xaro. Daenerys opens Xaro's treasure vault. Inside, it's empty. There's nothing. It turns out Xaro wanted to trade a little for a lot. Quite clever. Later, Daenerys learns this trick too. She has her men lock the handmaiden and Xaro in the vault. This time she will not be merciful. Mercy to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. Daenerys plunders all of Xaro's wealth. Though not much, it's enough to buy a small ship. This is a very health-conscious dragon. Even when eating a fish, it has to be cooked. The dragons grow quickly, but Daenerys feels it's still too slow. She can't wait that long. Now she needs her own army. So they head to Slavers Bay to Astapor. Here one can buy the entire unsullied army. The training method for this army is more terrifying than death. From a young age, they are castrated. At 5, they begin training, every day from dawn till dusk. The inhumane training method results in a survival rate of only 1 in 4. The survivors are the strongest warriors. They are loyal and absolutely obedient. Daenerys is not pleased with this brutal training, but now these 8,000 unsullied warriors are too important to her. The slaver urges Daenerys to decide quickly, because many customers are interested in this army. On the way back, Daenerys is attacked by a little girl. Fortunately, Barristan appears in time to save her. Barristan is the strongest warrior in the 7 kingdoms. He once served Daenerys' father. Later, he served Robert. When Robert died, he came to ask for Daenerys' forgiveness. I once served your father faithfully. Please allow me to serve you with all my strength. I will not disappoint you. Barristan's arrival further strengthens Daenerys' forces. The next day, Daenerys goes to meet the slaver, Krasnis. She wants to buy all the Unsullied, but he looks down on her, thinking Daenerys doesn't have that much money. Daenerys offers to trade a dragon for the soldiers. Barristan and Jorah hear this and immediately try to stop her. Daenerys gives them a look and says nothing. After some haggling, Daenerys offers her largest dragon in exchange for 8,000 Unsullied. Jorah and Barristan continue to advise her against it, but Daenerys firmly rejects them. By now, Daenerys has the air of an empress. She is no longer the weak girl of the past. On the way back, Daenerys asks Missandei if the Unsullied are absolutely obedient. They will have no questions, they obey, that is all. Once you buy them, they belong to you. If you order them to kill themselves, they will. Hearing Missandei's answer, Daenerys thinks of a plan. At the trading place, Daenerys puts a chain on the dragon. Is she really going to give her child to someone else? She takes the slaver's whip. She asks in disbelief, "They are mine now." After the deal is done, and she hears Krasnis's reply. Daenerys, with the whip in hand and a cold expression, walks towards the Unsullied army. She tests her command, ordering the Unsullied to advance 2 steps. Indeed, they obey the one who holds the whip. A dragon is not a slave. Unsullied, slay the masters. Slay every man who holds a whip. The trick of trading a little for a lot, learned from Xaro, finally has its use. To make him let his guard down about her true background, from the beginning, she pretended to be an ignorant novice, enduring Krasnis's insults. But she lost nothing and gained 8,000 unsullied warriors. However, Daenerys is not like the slavers. She does not take away their rights. She knows that ruling with brutality cannot last, so she wants to conquer them with her moral charisma. She speaks clearly to the warriors, "You were born as slaves. From now on, your freedom is restored. You can choose to leave this place. I swear no one will harm you. Will those who have gained their freedom willingly fight for me?" Then one soldier responds, followed by all the others. Not a single warrior chooses to leave the army. Daenerys has truly won an army that belongs to her. She throws away the whip, a symbol of control. She has won their hearts and no longer needs that to command her army. Then, Daenerys leads her spirited army forward to the next battle, Yunkai upon. Reaching Yunkai, the people here primarily train pleasure slaves, not soldiers. To take Yunkai with its thick walls and high city would come at a great cost. Jorah advises Daenerys to bypass this place because attacking this city has no strategic value for ruling the 7 kingdoms. But Daenerys has witnessed how the slaves are trained, a true hell on earth. So she decides to attack Yunkai and help the slaves regain their freedom. Daenerys sends a message to the masters, telling them to surrender quickly, or Yunkai will suffer the same fate as Astapor. But Razdal has no intention of surrendering, and instead tries to bribe Daenerys to leave. But Daenerys speaks with a firm attitude. "You have 2 choices. Either I will kill all the masters in Yunkai, or you will free all the slaves and let them take their revenge." Razdal flies into a rage. "Although we cannot fight you, we have powerful allies. They will help us deal with you." After saying this, Razdal turns and leaves. The negotiations fail. The next day, Daenerys discovers that Yunkai's allies are the Second Sons. They have a total of 2,000 cavalry, an army with no weaknesses. They will do anything for money. Daenerys invites Mero, the commander of the Second Sons, to meet her. She wants to use a higher amount of gold to make them abandon the defense of Yunkai. Unexpectedly, Mero is not grateful, and instead speaks lewdly, insulting Daenerys. The current Daenerys has a heart of steel. Hearing his insults, her face remains calm. 2 weeks ago I had no army. A year ago I had no dragons. You have 2 days to decide. Show me what you've got, and I'll decide if it's worth it. Although the negotiation failed, it had a surprising result. Daenerys' powerful presence and captivating beauty won the heart of Daario, a mysterious man who stealthily entered Daenerys' tent. He slowly removes his helmet. It turns out to be Daario of the Second Sons. He puts down a bag. Inside are the heads of the other 2 commanders. He has come to submit to Daenerys. Then he kneels on one knee and swears, "The Second Sons are yours. My life, my heart, are also yours." With Daario as a spy, Daenerys easily takes the city of Yunkai and also gains the 2,000 soldiers of the mercenary army. Daario presents the flag of Yunkai, saying, "This city is yours, my queen." The next day, Daenerys leads her army to the city gates. The slaves from the city come out. Missandei introduces Daenerys' titles and says, "She has given you freedom." "No, you do not owe me your freedom. I cannot give it to you. Freedom belongs to everyone. If you want it, you must take it for yourselves." Misa is the sound meaning mother. Daenerys slowly walks into the crowd. They lift Daenerys high. She has successfully liberated Yunkai, gaining her 2nd city. The dragons grow day by day, but they are becoming more and more disobedient. How will Daenerys control her dragons? After taking Yunkai, Daenerys continues to Meereen. Along the way, every mile is marked by a post, and on each post hangs a young slave who has died. In total, there are 163 posts. Seeing these trampled lives, Daenerys becomes enraged. Her desire to free the slaves becomes even stronger. After arriving in Meereen, the nobles in the city send out a horseman to challenge her. That man relieves himself on the spot. He insults Daenerys and the second sons, calling them a eunuch army. The nobles in the city laugh loudly. Not to disappoint Daenerys, Daario, the commander of the army, volunteers to go kill the enemy. Let me finish him for you. Very well. He stands calmly. In contrast, Daenerys is a bit worried. Facing the charging horseman, Daario pulls out a dagger. After finishing the enemy, he even winks at Daenerys. So handsome. The nobles in the city angrily order to shoot arrows, but the range is not enough. Then Daario also relieves himself in front of everyone. Daenerys tells the slaves in the city, "I am not your enemy, but the enemy of your masters, those who oppress you, who kill your children. I will not give an order, but I will give you a choice. Let those bastards receive their just punishment." After speaking, they push a catapult forward and launch a log into the city. Seeing his own slave collar fall to the ground, the slaves are moved. Who does not yearn for freedom? That night, the slaves gather to discuss rebellion. At this time, the commander of the Unsullied, Grey Worm, leads his men to sneak into Meereen. He brings weapons to these unarmed people. Grey Worm says that even one day of freedom is better than a lifetime of slavery. "No one can give you freedom, brothers. We must take it for ourselves. Brothers, fight together." The slaves rise up enthusiastically, killing their masters. Just like that, Daenerys takes Meereen without losing a single soldier. She takes control of the region's navy. At this time, good news arrives. Prince Joffrey Baratheon has been assassinated. Now is the time to reclaim the Iron Throne. But there is also bad news. The two cities that Daenerys had liberated have been retaken by the masters. Jorah advises Daenerys not to worry about these slaves anymore. The urgent matter is to lead the army back to Westeros. Daenerys says, "I will not let those I have freed be shackled again. I will not go to Westeros. I want to stay here. If I cannot rule this place, how can I rule the Seven Kingdoms?" Lord Tywin hears news of Daenerys and writes a letter about Jorah, intentionally giving it to Barristan. Clearly, Tywin wants to drive a wedge between Jorah and Daenerys. Learning of this, Daenerys is enraged. The person she trusted most was once a spy. But thinking of how Jorah has been through so much with her, she decides to banish Jorah, never to see him again. Thus, Daenerys loses a great general. Drogon, Daenerys' dragon, becomes more and more unruly. It burns a man's goats to a crisp. To resolve this, Daenerys compensates the owner with 3 times the value of the goats. Drogon continues to cause destruction. That day, a man brings the remains of his child to Daenerys. Drogon hasn't returned for several days. Daenerys is very angry, but there is nothing she can do. To prevent the other 2 dragons from causing trouble, Daenerys locks them in the dungeon. She even puts iron chains on them. Who would have thought that after working so hard to remove the chains from slaves, she now has to personally chain her own children? Rhaegal and Viserion roar in despair. Daenerys, with heavy steps, leaves the dungeon. After taking Meereen, she chooses to stay and begins her career as a ruler. As someone who doesn't know how to rule, she faces many challenges. The first thing Daenerys does after liberating Meereen is to crucify 163 masters. This leads to the dissatisfaction of the masters' descendants. They feel she is pandering to the slaves too much. Next, the Sons of the Harpy begin to cause trouble. They kill some unsullied soldiers. The Sons of the Harpy are an underground organization in Meereen. To defeat them, Daenerys first has the statue of the Harpy god torn down as a warning. Then, Daenerys has the unsullied soldiers increase their patrols. After a period of searching, Daario and Grey Worm capture a member of the organization, but he refuses to say a word. Without getting any useful information, Barristan tells Daenerys about her father, the Mad King. He advises Daenerys to be merciful when ruling. Daenerys decides to give the Sons of the Harpy a fair trial, but an incident occurs. A former slave kills the captive. This angers Daenerys. Now she wants to create a city with laws, so she tries the man in front of everyone. The former slaves plead with Daenerys to spare him, but Daenerys still sentences him to death. The law is the law. No one can violate it. This makes the people very dissatisfied. They don't understand the law, nor do they understand governance. They only know that Daenerys has killed one of their own. At this moment, a former slave throws a stone at a noble. All the people begin to fight. Daenerys is very scared. Barristan can only quickly shield her and get her out of there. Daenerys is very naive in politics. She cannot satisfy both sides. With internal strife not yet settled, the external enemy, the Sons of the Harpy, is already preparing to act. They lure the patrolling Unsullied into a trap to surround them. Although they are not strong, their numbers are large. Soon, only Grey Worm is left of the three Unsullied. He tries to fight back. Just then, Barristan arrives in time to join the battle. Barristan is the strongest warrior in the Seven Kingdoms. He crossed a continent to follow Daenerys just to fulfill his oath. He uses his fresh blood and his life to uphold his glory and honor. He is a true knight, but he is old. There are many things he wants to do but cannot. Both are severely wounded. Very quickly but persist until the last moment. In the end, Barristan dies from excessive blood loss. His whole life was a legend. A brave warrior should die on the battlefield, not in a nameless alley, killed by masked men. Daenerys is enraged. Barristan's death makes her lose her reason. She decides to rule in her own way. She captures all the nobles and takes them to the dungeon where she keeps her dragons, feeding one of the nobles to the dragons as bait. This terrifies the other nobles, but slaughter is never the solution. After calming down, Daenerys still chooses to compromise. She decides to reopen the fighting pits and is prepared to blame the noble. The fighting pits are a traditional activity in Meereen. Gladiators can kill each other here. The winner gains glory and a chance at fame. Meanwhile, Jorah is wandering around now, drinking his sorrows away in a tavern. He unexpectedly meets Tyrion Lannister. He kidnaps him. The Lannisters are Daenerys' rival power. Jorah plans to bring him to Daenerys to atone for his past and gain her forgiveness. But Tyrion can no longer live in Westeros. He was originally planning to surrender to Daenerys. Unexpectedly, it was a convenient trip. The journey from here to Meereen is long. To avoid pirates, they can only go through Valyria. Valyria is a long-dead city and also the ancestral land of House Targaryen. It was once the greatest city in the world but was destroyed in the Doom. Today only ruins remain. The appearance of a dragon breaks Tyrion's silence. This is Drogon, Daenerys' dragon. He is very mischievous and has run away from home for a while. This is the first time Tyrion has seen a dragon. Unexpectedly, a creature long thought extinct has been reborn. Suddenly, a stone man jumps onto their boat. This is a person infected with grayscale. Just being touched by them will spread the disease. This disease is incurable, so they have lost all reason and want to drag others down with them. After a battle, the two escape, but Jorah has been infected with grayscale. He knows he doesn't have much time left. Having survived the danger, Tyrion tells Jorah about his plight. He was framed by his father and sister for a crime he didn't commit. The woman he loved was also taken from him. He then mentions Jorah's father. He was a good man who genuinely cared for others, but unexpectedly he was betrayed and killed by his own men. Jorah feels great remorse. He once engaged in the slave trade, disgracing his family, and could not face his father. But he never expected to never see his father again. On their way, they encounter slave hunters. Both are captured. Learning that the fighting pits have been reopened, Tyrion immediately introduces Jorah, saying they can help the slavers win gold. Since Jorah looks strong, they agree with Tyrion. The two go through a lot and finally arrive in Meereen. In the fighting pits, Daenerys witnesses this type of competition for the first time. She finds it terrifying. She cannot accept people fighting to the death just for the entertainment of others. As she is about to leave, Jorah, wearing a helmet, joins the fight. He quickly dispatches the others and comes before Daenerys. But when he takes off his helmet, Daenerys still wants to banish him. Jorah says he has brought a gift for Daenerys. Then Tyrion steps out. Tyrion is perceptive and realizes that Daenerys lacks experience on the battlefield. So he uses his glib tongue to convince Daenerys to keep him. As for Jorah, Daenerys cannot forgive him but doesn't want to kill him either. Daenerys orders Jorah to be banished again. Then, when the final duel is held the next day, Jorah appears. Again, "Please let me fight for you, my queen." Jorah, banished twice, has returned twice. Seeing such a loyal subject, Daenerys cannot control her feelings. Besides Drogo, no man has ever treated her so sincerely. Daenerys' applause is like an approval of Jorah, even though she worries he will die in the arena. This fight is not as easy as the last. In the arena of very strong men who have survived previous matches, Jorah fights hard but ultimately wins. Suddenly Jorah picks up a spear and throws it towards Daenerys, hitting a harpy who was ambushing her from behind. It turns out they had been ambushing in the arena for a long time. They start to cause chaos. Jorah officially returns to Daenerys' side. At this time, the leader of the nobles is killed by the harpies, which is even better. Daenerys doesn't have to frame him. Jorah and Daario quickly protect Daenerys and get her out, but the exit is blocked. The harpies quickly surround them. Facing so many well-equipped enemies, the unsullied warriors fall one by one. In this perilous situation, Daenerys takes Missandei's hand and slowly closes her eyes. But a dragon's roar tears through the sky. The battle is reversed in an instant. The fire dragon Drogon rushes out from the flames. "Don't you dare harm my mother!" Seeing Drogon fighting to protect her, Daenerys is very happy. Drogon, the rebellious son, has finally grown up. The harpies continuously throw spears at Drogon. Daenerys feels for him. She tries to climb onto Drogon's back. She says a word, and Drogon immediately obeys, carrying Daenerys into the sky. The era of Daenerys taming dragons has officially begun. This is the first time Daenerys has ridden a dragon into the sky. She does not control its direction, so the two fly straight north, stopping in Vaes Dothrak, the homeland of the Dothraki. This time Drogon is severely injured. Daenerys is concerned, but the most important thing is to return to Meereen. The people there need her. But Drogon gets angry. As soon as Daenerys climbs on its back, it throws her off. Helpless, Daenerys can only go find food on her own. Another. Khal of the Dothraki is heading to the Holy City and happens to see her. Seeing the situation is not good, she immediately drops her ring to leave a clue. Sure enough, the Dothraki tie her up and treat her as a gift for Khal Moro, the current Khal. Moro has never seen such a beautiful girl. He tries to touch Daenerys, causing her to panic and reveal her identity. "I am Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, the unburnt Queen of Meereen, breaker of chains, etc. The men who pursue me form a line across the continent." But Daenerys' words not only have no effect, but also make him laugh. Seeing this, Daenerys uses another trick. "I'm the wife of Khal Drogo, son of Khal Barbo. Forgive me, I did not know." Bullying the widow of a Khal is a taboo. Sure enough, this trick works. But the Dothraki have a tradition. The widows of Khals must go to Vaes Dothrak to live in solitude until they are old, so Daenerys is taken to Vaes Dothrak. Meanwhile, Meereen, without its dragons and Daenerys, is on the brink of collapse. The harpies cause chaos everywhere, burning ships. After Rhaegal and Viserion are no longer fed by Daenerys, they stop eating. Tyrion believes it's because they are chained. Dragons belong to the sky, not a dark dungeon. Then Tyrion musters all his courage and goes to the dungeon where the two dragons are kept. He carefully soothes the dragons. "I am a friend of your mother's. I've come to help you. Don't eat the person who helps you." After gaining the dragon's trust, Tyrion unchains them. Then he runs terrified from the dungeon. "The next time I have an idea like that, just punch me in the face." After discussing, they decide to let Tyrion, Grey Worm and Missandei defend Meereen. Jorah and Daario will go out to find Daenerys. They head north. Amidst the dense hoofprints, they find Daenerys' ring. They immediately guess that Daenerys has been captured by the Dothraki, so they follow the hoofprints to the Dothraki's holy land. It's not convenient to rescue Daenerys during the day, so they start their operation at night. That night, Daenerys goes out for some fresh air with another widow. Suddenly, "Don't kill her." It turns out Jorah and Daario have come to rescue Daenerys. But now Daenerys does not want to leave. According to tradition, she must live in Vias, Dothrak. But before that, she must face the judgment of the Khals. The Khals make a joke of Daenerys speaking rudely. Daenerys is not angry. She calmly says, "You are not fit to lead the Dothraki. The Khals have no intention of surrendering. If you do not submit, then I will not be merciful." After speaking, Daenerys knocks over all the braziers. The fire spreads instantly. The Khals rush to the door, but the door is held shut by Jorah and Daario. They have no escape. Khal Moro's men are stunned. Does Daenerys want to drag them down with her? How could that be? A dragon is not afraid of fire. In the end, none of the Khals escape. The Dothraki, seeing the fire, gather around. Daenerys walks out of the flames. At this moment, she is like an angel descending from heaven. All of them kneel at her feet. At this very moment, Daenerys has unified the Dothraki. Jorah saving her moves Daenerys. She decides to forgive Jorah, but Jorah steps back and shows her his grayscale. Seeing Jorah like this, Daenerys cries for him for the first time. She tells Jorah, "You once swore to be loyal to me forever. I command you, even if you have to go to the ends of the earth to find a cure for yourself. When I conquer Westeros, I will need you by my side." Jorah, with tears in his eyes, nods. Only when Daenerys' figure disappears does he turn and leave. Daenerys begins to lead the Dothraki back to Meereen. On the way, she smells a familiar scent. Drogon has returned. It is like a playful child, waiting for its mother to escape danger before returning. Clearly, it intentionally let Daenerys suffer. Daenerys rides Drogon and begins to speak words that move people's hearts. "Will you cross the Black Salt Sea with me? Will you conquer the 7 kingdoms for me? The gift that Khal Drogo promised. Me, will you journey with me? From this day until the end of days." With the added majesty of the dragon, Daenerys speaks very smoothly. With such a large dragon here, who would dare say no? Daenerys has made 40,000 Dothraki horsemen submit to her. This is the strength that will help her reclaim Westeros. Meanwhile, the Masters, learning that Daenerys has left Meereen, begin to attack. Meereen is under threat. Everyone is discussing how to deal with it. Suddenly, a familiar figure appears before them. Daenerys, riding Drogon, has returned. She wants to crucify all the Masters again, but Tyrion thinks that killing only treats the symptom, not the root cause. So Daenerys decides to give the Masters a chance to negotiate with them. The 3 Masters seem not to understand the situation. They even think Daenerys has come to surrender, speaking arrogantly. A dragon's roar sounds. Drogon descends from the sky, standing beside Daenerys. If they refuse to wake up, Daenerys decides to teach them a lesson. She rides Drogon into the sky. Rhaegal and Viserion hear her call and also rush out. "Dracarys," Daenerys orders. The 3 dragons breathe fire, burning the ships to cinders. Daario has also led the Dothraki army to Meereen. The outcome of this battle is not in doubt. The 3 Masters, seeing this, are terrified. Tyrion tells them, "You have violated the agreement. Today one of you must stay here as a warning." So they push out the Master with the lowest status, without hesitation. Grey Worm steps forward, and, with one slash, ends the other 2. Tyrion pats the remaining one on the shoulder. "Go back and tell the others that you live because the Mother of Dragons was merciful." The timing is perfect. The 2 Greyjoy siblings, Yara and Theon, arrive with 100 ships to submit to Daenerys. They hope Daenerys can help them reclaim the Iron Islands. The 2 sides cooperate. Daenerys follows Tyrion's suggestion to leave Daario, here because love is a taboo on the path of conquest. I'm kidding, because after Daenerys rules Westeros, she may need to marry to consolidate her position, so she cannot bring her lover with her. Daario, who appeared in Season 3, fell in love with Daenerys at first sight. After taking Meereen, Daario became Daenerys' lover. From her face to her talent, he is also a man who loves Daenerys, willing to sacrifice his life for her. After a reluctant farewell, Daario leaves. The image of him leaving will never appear again. While Daenerys ruled Meereen, Tyrion constantly gave her good advice. For Tyrion's ability and contributions, Daenerys bestows upon him the title of Hand of the Queen. At this time, Daenerys leads her powerful army and 3 dragons across the narrow sea. Daenerys chooses Dragonstone as her landing place. After more than 20 years, she has finally returned to her homeland. Daenerys touches the ground here, unwilling to let go. She wants, like her ancestors, to begin her conquest of the continent of Westeros from this land. With Daenerys' current power, taking the Iron Throne is actually very easy. But that would make her the Queen of Ashes. Then how would she be different from her father, the Mad King? At this time, the Red Priestess prophesies that winter has come. Ice and fire will meet. An endless darkness will cover the world. In this dangerous moment, a brave messenger of light will step forward to lead people against the darkness. Then, she introduces a person to Daenerys, the king in the north, Jon Snow. Tyrion, hearing this, is surprised. Let me write to him. If Jon Snow becomes Daenerys' ally, it would be a huge benefit. But Jon Snow's men do not agree to let him go south, because Starks who go south all have tragic fates. His grandfather, father, and brother are examples. Even so, Jon Snow insists on going south because Dragonstone is rich in dragonglass, and dragonglass can defeat the White Walkers. The White Walkers and Winterfell are separated by only one wall. When the White Walkers break the wall, they will be the first to suffer. Then Jon Snow arrives at Dragonstone. Ice and fire have met. As soon as he lands on the island, Drogon gives him a show of force. When Jon Snow meets Daenerys, Missandei announces her titles. You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn, of the House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the mother of dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the Unburnt, the Breaker of Chains. Such a long title, I don't know how she remembers it. This is Jon Snow, he's king in the north. The title King in the North sounds so pathetic and weak. Seeing Jon Snow's dejected face, Tyrion almost bursts out laughing. Next, Daenerys tells Jon Snow to bend the knee. Jon Snow, being the king in the north, naturally refuses. He came to Dragonstone to propose that Daenerys cooperate with him against the White Walkers, but Daenerys has never seen them, so she doesn't believe him. The first meeting of Ice and Fire was so unpleasant. After listening to Tyrion's advice, Daenerys agrees to let Jon Snow mine the dragonglass. First, dragonglass is useless to Daenerys. Trading a useless thing for a powerful ally is not a loss. Second, who would risk their life to tell a lie that doesn't benefit them? While mining the dragonglass, Jon Snow finds strange drawings. These are drawings left by the children of the forest, depicting them fighting the White Walkers. Only then does Daenerys truly believe that the White Walkers exist. She agrees to help Jon Snow fight them. As she steps out of the cave, Tyrion is already waiting outside with bad news. The Lord of the Iron Islands has launched a surprise attack, almost wiping out their entire fleet. Yara is captured, and her brother Theon escapes. Although the Unsullied have taken Casterly Rock, they have fallen for Jaime's empty fort strategy. The soldiers of Casterly Rock had long since withdrawn. They secretly attacked Highgarden. Queen Olenna is poisoned. Because of Tyrion's plan and Daenerys' mercy, they have lost many allies. Daenerys is furious. She will never again believe in Tyrion's low-bloodshed plan. The lives of other people's soldiers are lives. So are the soldiers who died for me worthless? Weren't they living, breathing people? This time Daenerys decides to go to battle herself. She will no longer be soft-hearted. She must avenge her allies. At the beginning, Jaime is still very confident, but when Drogon appears in the sky, he is stunned. What the hell is that? Drogon breathes a stream of fire, breaking a defensive line. The Dothraki cavalry immediately charge into battle. Jaime's army is quickly defeated. He summons a team of archers to attack Drogon, but Drogon's skin is thick and tough. Ordinary arrows cannot harm it. In a desperate situation, Bronn brings out the Scorpion, the ultimate weapon, and shoots Drogon's right wing. Drogon throws Daenerys from a great height, but before she hits the ground, through sheer willpower, Drogon spews fire, burning the weapon that harmed it. Daenerys is worried about Drogon. She gets off its back, intending to help Drogon pull out the arrow. Jaime, seeing this, knows this might be an extremely rare opportunity. He immediately spurs his horse, holding a spear, and charges towards Daenerys. Far away, Tyrion sees this and mutters, "Flee, you fool." He is more worried about his brother's life than Daenerys's. Just as Jaime is about to succeed, Drogon suddenly turns its head. After the battle, Daenerys originally intended to recruit the remaining warriors, but a few survivors would rather die than surrender. Tyrion suggests imprisoning them for a while, and they will come to their senses. But Daenerys strongly objects. "I gave them a chance. I was merciful to them. But who will be merciful to the warriors who died for me?" Then she orders Drogon to burn the two leaders to death. The others, seeing this, kneel and submit to her one by one. It seems these men only respond to force. Daenerys rides her dragon back, stopping in front of a man. Drogon roars angrily at first, then it recognizes a familiar scent on him. It slowly approaches him, asking to be petted. That's right, this man is not ordinary. He is Jon Snow, the current king in the north. But why is he so close to the dragon? Keep watching to find out. At this time, Jorah has been cured of grayscale and returns. "My queen, please let me continue to serve you." Daenerys is very happy. She steps forward and hugs Jorah. 1,000 words are conveyed in this hug. Isn't grayscale an incurable disease? Why is Jorah cured? It turns out Samwell found a method to treat grayscale in an old book, but no one has ever been cured, and no one wanted to try because the treatment process is very painful. He had to cut off all the infected skin and apply special medicine. Although Jorah is a strong man, enduring that pain, he still couldn't help but scream. As long as he could return to Daenerys' side, this little pain was worth it. Meanwhile, Bran has seen a vision of the White Walker army beginning to attack. He writes a letter to inform Jon Snow immediately. The fight against the White Walkers cannot be delayed. Daenerys really wants to help Jon Snow deal with them right away. But that would make it easy for Cersei to launch a sneak attack. To make Cersei believe in the existence of the White Walkers and agree to a truce, Tyrion suggests capturing a White Walker to show Cersei. Daenerys agrees. This is a decision she will regret for the rest of her life. Jorah forms a group to capture a White Walker, and they begin their operation amidst a snowstorm. They encounter a bear. After a struggle, they finally deal with it, but they also lose a member. Thoros is also seriously injured. Very quickly, they encounter a group of White Walkers. After a fight, they capture one alive, but it screams as if calling for reinforcements. Sure enough, the sound of hurried footsteps is heard. Snow orders his fastest subordinate to go back and call for reinforcements. They are surrounded by the White Walkers all night. Thoros, severely injured, has frozen to death. Beric burns him immediately. Otherwise, he will become food for the White Walkers. One of them, bored, starts throwing stones. He throws a stone at a White Walker's chin. Seeing no reaction, he throws another one, but it rolls on the ice. The Night King sends one forward to confirm it's safe, then tens of thousands of White Walkers begin to attack. Facing the endless wave of White Walkers, everyone is desperate. But suddenly a dragon's roar tears through the sky. Daenerys received the call for help and arrived just in time. A small stone led to a fierce battle. Facing thousands upon thousands of White Walkers, the tables are turned in an instant. Daenerys hurriedly pulls everyone up, but Snow gets carried away with the fighting and seems not to want to leave. At this moment, the Night King and javelin-throwing champion raises the spear in his hand and throws it, hitting Viserion in the neck. Viserion roars and falls onto the ice. Seeing her child sink into the cold ice, Daenerys is in so much pain she can't breathe. At this moment, the Night King prepares to attack again. Jon Snow, seeing this, quickly tells Daenerys to flee. After saying this, he is pushed into the water by White Walkers. Daenerys looks at Jon Snow, then at the Night King. She quickly orders Drogon to fly. If she hesitates any longer, she will lose everything. As soon as Daenerys flies up, the Night King throws another spear. Fortunately, Drogon is agile and dodges it in time. After Daenerys flies away, Jon Snow climbs out of the water. The White Walkers smell him and charge again. At this moment, a man rushes in. It is Benjen Stark, Snow's uncle. He puts Snow on his horse while he stays behind to hold off the White Walkers. More and more White Walkers arrive. The result is as one would expect. Daenerys returns to the wall, waiting in agony. Finally, she waits for Snow. Just escaped death. Daenerys had to pay the price of a dragon for a single White Walker. She also won over Jon Snow, the king in the north. A few days later, at the negotiation place in King's Landing, Daenerys appears riding a dragon, looking incredibly cool. The meeting begins. Everyone witnesses the captured White Walker. Seeing it, Cersei is terrified. She agrees to fight them. Together. She requests that after dealing with the White Walkers, the North must remain neutral and not participate in the remaining wars. But Snow will not lie. He says he has sworn loyalty to Daenerys, so he cannot agree. Cersei leaves in anger. Tyrion is not pleased. He persuades her for a while, and finally Cersei agrees to send troops to help. After Daenerys leaves, Jaime prepares to lead his forces north. Cersei stops him. It turns out that on the surface, she agreed to send reinforcements for Daenerys, but in reality, she wants to be the fisherman who profits. Jaime is dissatisfied with Cersei and decides to go provide support on his own. Bran has become a seer. With his divine eyes, he knows Snow's identity. It turns out Jon is not Ned Stark's biological son. He is the son of Rhaegar, Daenerys' brother, and Lyanna, Ned's sister. His real name is Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne. In other words, Daenerys is Jon Snow's aunt. But knowing this now is too late. The aunt and nephew have already fallen in love. While Jon Snow was wooing Daenerys, the Night King was about to topple the wall. It turns out the Night King resurrected Viserion. After being resurrected, the fire dragon became an ice dragon. The ice dragon spews blue fire, continuously attacking the wall. The wall collapses. Under the leadership of the Night King, the massive army of White Walkers heads south. Winter has come. The battle between ice and fire is about to begin. The battle is ahead. The forces gather at Winterfell. Previously in Slaver's Bay, wherever Daenerys went, she was hailed by tens of thousands. When she arrives here, no one welcomes her. I told you a long time ago, the Northerners don't like outsiders much. When the two dragons appear in the sky, they help Daenerys gain more favor. Jon Snow sees his family and steps forward to greet them, then introduces Daenerys to his sister Sansa. Grey Worm interrupts them. We can chat later. Right now, the Night King has resurrected your dragon and turned it into a white. Pratis has been breached. Then everyone holds an emergency meeting, but the Northern Lords still look down on Daenerys. Snow keeps defending her, but to no avail. The meeting ends in discord. The two dragons are not suited to the north. Daenerys takes Snow for a checkup, then invites him to ride a dragon with her. Snow has never ridden a dragon before. He cautiously climbs onto Rhaegal's back. Unexpectedly, Rhaegal is quite fond of Snow, but this doesn't stop it from teasing him. It carries Snow up and down, scaring him witless. The two fly to a waterfall. As they embrace and kiss, Drogon stands by, playing the third wheel. Snow, seeing this, trembles in fear. Learning that Samwell has arrived, Daenerys goes to thank him. He previously cured Jorah of grayscale, but Daenerys accidentally lets slip that she had her dragon burn Samwell's father and brother to death. Samwell, hearing this, cries his heart out. After leaving the room, he meets Bran. It's time to tell Jon the truth. At this moment, Snow is paying respects to his father, Ned Stark. When he said goodbye to his father, he swore to him that the next time they met, he would reveal his parentage. Just then, Samwell finds him. He reveals Snow's true identity. Your biological father is Rhaegar Targaryen. Your biological mother is Lyanna Stark. Your real name is Aegon Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne. Snow, hearing this, is stunned. Although he is not Ned's biological son, he is not happy because the person he loves has suddenly become his aunt. The customs of the North are not as restrictive as those of House Targaryen. He doesn't know how to face Daenerys, let alone the approaching army of White Walkers. Everyone gathers to plan their battle strategy. Bran says the Night King's main target is him, because Bran is the three-eyed raven. His mind contains the memories of this world. If the Night King wants to conquer the world, he must first erase the traces of humanity. So Bran suggests using himself as bait. The others will go out to lure the White Walkers first, then find an opportunity to kill the Night King. This is a battle to the death. No one knows if they will survive. So many people begin to make amends for their mistakes and regrets. Snow is also in the crypts, telling Daenerys his identity. Daenerys learns that her claim to the throne is in jeopardy because the first in line for the Iron Throne is Snow. Before Daenerys can even accept this serious news, the White Walker army has arrived. 3 horn blasts sound. The walkers have arrived. Winterfell enters a state of battle. The Dothraki cavalry lead the charge, followed by the Unsullied army. The allied forces of the north are at the rear. Theon leads his men to protect Bran. The battlefield is pitch black. Nothing can be seen. So the Red Priestess uses magic to light all the Dothraki weapons on fire. With added visibility, the army's morale soars. Jorah leads the Dothraki cavalry to charge the White Walkers. Before they realize it, the White Walkers suddenly rush out in front of them. The Dothraki cavalry is immediately caught off guard. The flames die out quickly. The cavalry is almost completely wiped out. A moment later, Jorah returns with a group of soldiers, fear on everyone's faces. The White Walkers approach quickly, charging with overwhelming force. The powerful, Unsullied warriors also cannot hold. The battlefield becomes a stalemate in an instant. Daenerys can't bear it anymore. She rides her dragon with Snow breathing fire. But the Night King is not to be trifled with. He immediately creates a snowstorm. The already dark battlefield becomes even more obscure. Daenerys and Snow can no longer see the situation on the ground. They can only ride their dragons into the sky. Suddenly, a stream of blue fire erupts. The Night King has summoned the ice dragon, but it disappears quickly. Back on the ground, the allied forces can no longer hold. They can only retreat first. Grey Worm orders some Unsullied to defend the rear, protecting the retreating soldiers. Hold the line. The White Walkers are so terrifying. Even if they die, they must fulfill their duty. They use their bodies to shield their retreating allies. Seeing his brothers fall one by one, Grey Worm's heart is in agony. He endures the pain and pulls apart the wooden bridge. All the Unsullied soldiers are left outside. Light the fire! But the snow and wind are too strong. They cannot light the fire, nor can they guide Daenerys. In this critical situation, the Red Priestess steps forward again. But she has consumed too much magic. She pleads for light, but there is no response. Seeing the White Walkers charging, the fire is finally lit. The battlefield turns into a wall, a fire in an instant. The White Walkers are kept outside. Daenerys has also found her direction. She uses dragon fire to help, but soon the Night King is tired of playing. He signals with his hand, and the White Walkers begin to use their bodies as a bridge to cross the wall of fire. In an instant, they continue their attack. The situation becomes a stalemate again. Soon the city walls can no longer hold. The White Walkers pour in. Everyone is fighting desperately to protect their homeland. At this time, a giant White Walker charges in. It knocks Lyanna away with one hand. The allied forces are no match for it. But Bear Island has no cowards. The little girl stands up again and charges towards it. But she is grabbed by it. The sound of breaking bones is heard. In her final moment, Lyanna pulls out a dragonglass dagger and stabs the giant. Both die together. After paying a heavy price, the allied forces finally defeat the Night King. Because of this, Daenerys loses 80,000 Dothraki and more than half of the Unsullied. Using dragon fire to attack would harm innocent people. So, what should she do? Before returning to the city, Daenerys goes to check on Rhaegal's injuries. Seeing it is still healthy, Daenerys is relieved. According to the plan, Daenerys leads part of the army back to Dragonstone first, waiting for the rest of the army to arrive before attacking King's Landing. Just as she returns to Dragonstone, an incident occurs. A scorpion bolt hits Rhaegal. Then another two. Rhaegal screams and falls into the sea. Before Daenerys can grieve, an arrow whizzes past her. The ambusher is Euron. He has submitted to Cersei. The mother of dragons, grieving for her child, is filled with rage. She rides Drogon and dives towards Euron. But Euron is prepared. Daenerys can only dodge the arrows and fly away. Having lost his target, Euron turns his fire on the Unsullied ships. After one round of attacks, all the ships are destroyed. Everyone jumps into the water. When they get ashore, they find Missandei is missing. She has been captured by Cersei. At this moment, Cersei is opening the city gates, letting many people in. She knows Daenerys' weakness is her compassion. To take King's Landing, she would have to harm civilians. Tyrion and Varys also realize this and try to persuade her. Finally, Daenerys agrees to negotiate. Meanwhile, Jaime, learning of this, thinks all night. He still wants to save Cersei. He says goodbye to Brienne and goes to King's Landing. The day of negotiations arrives. Tyrion says that if they surrender unconditionally and release Missandei, negotiations will be easier. But the envoy from King's Landing says, if you don't surrender, we will kill Missandei. Seeing the other side is so unreasonable, Tyrion speaks directly to Cersei. He advises her not to be stubborn. Even if she doesn't consider the people, at least think of her child. But Cersei doesn't think she will lose. She has 20,000 golden company soldiers. She just wounded Daenerys' dragon. As long as she kills the last dragon, how can Daenerys win? Then she walks up to Missandei. Do you have any last words? Say them. Missandei knew this day would come, but she has no regrets. She looks at Daenerys with determination and says her last words, which are also the words in Daenerys' heart. Dracarys. Daenerys watches helplessly as Cersei executes Missandei but can do nothing. Grey Worm's heart is also in agony. This has ignited the fire of rage within her. At this moment, Daenerys understands a truth. Mercy to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. Daenerys, having just lost her child and best friend, has aged decades in an instant. No matter how strong a queen is, she is also a woman. The external enemy is not yet defeated, and internal worries begin to arise. Varys is secretly plotting a rebellion. He thinks Daenerys' nephew, Snow, is more suitable to be emperor, so he puts poison in Daenerys' food. Fortunately, Daenerys, heartbroken and desperate, has been on a hunger strike for several days. Varys' plan fails. He then goes to encourage Snow to seize the throne, but Snow is not interested in the throne. Tyrion discovers all of this and tells Daenerys. He is still loyal to Daenerys. The Great War is coming. This thorn cannot be kept. I was the one who informed on you. I hope I was wrong. Goodbye, old friend. Varys once swore eternal loyalty to Daenerys. If he was not completely loyal, he would be burned by a great dragon. Now he gets what he deserves. The Battle of Kings. Landing is about to begin. Tyrion knows it's impossible to make Daenerys merciful now, but he still begs her. After hearing the bells, spare the people and soldiers in the city. Daenerys nods. Then she tells Tyrion, your brother, Jaime, wanted to go to King's Landing. He was captured by us. Don't you dare betray me again. Tyrion goes to Jaime and tells him to ring the bells of surrender after finding Cersei. Then the two can escape through a tunnel and start a new life. Tyrion knows that by freeing Jaime, he is very likely to be killed by Daenerys. But he still frees Jaime. In their family, only Jaime truly looked him in the eye and treated him well. If not for Jaime, he might have died young. The next day, the great battle is about to begin. Daenerys rides Drogon and flies towards Euron's fleet. Having learned her lesson from last time, she is smarter this time. Before they are ready, she launches an attack. Daenerys' anger has erupted. The entire fleet is dealt with. Euron jumps from his ship and flees. As soon as he reaches the shore, he meets Jaime. The pair of love rivals, upon seeing each other, pull out their knives and start slashing. Jaime takes 2 hits. He counterattacks, kills Euron, and continues to look for Cersei. At the city gates, the Golden Company meets them. The Golden Company seems to sense danger, but it's too late. A dragon breathes fire from behind. The Golden Company instantly turns into roasted golden chicken. The captain of the Golden Company, who was so majestic a moment ago, is now being chased. The next battle is a one-sided slaughter. The dragon, before setting off, probably filled up its fuel tank. Its continuous flight capability is amazing. Daenerys first destroys all the poisonous scorpion ballistas. That way, there will be no more danger. She flies her fighter jet, dropping bombs indiscriminately from the air. Grey Worm and his men begin to roll over them on the ground like tanks. Cersei's army has no ability to fight back. Before long, they drop their weapons and surrender. Soon, after the bells of surrender ring, the bells seem to further provoke Daenerys. She looks angrily at the Red Keep. remembering Rhaegal and her best friend Missandei, who just died. Why should I be merciful? Why can others surrender and live? Daenerys rides Drogon and flies straight to the Red Keep. She begins to massacre the city's inhabitants. She must avenge Rhaegal and Missandei. While Tyrion and Snow are still confused, Grey Worm understands Daenerys' intention. He throws his long spear and leads his team to continue the attack. He charges in, stabbing the guards, avenging Missandei, the woman he loved. Daenerys in the sky also breathes fire. Whether you are a commoner or a soldier, you chose to be Cersei's accomplices, so you must be prepared to pay the price. When the avalanche comes, no snowflake is innocent. Time and again, there was a chance for a peaceful resolution, all rejected by Cersei herself. When Daenerys chose mercy, what did she get in return? Who in the end created this hell? What was the last straw that broke Daenerys? Snow sees the tragic deaths of the common people and falls into a state of extreme self-blame. Did he ultimately liberate them or lead them to hell? Cersei, knowing she cannot be saved, quickly withdraws from the Red Keep. On her way, she meets the Hound. He has come to find his brother Gregor for revenge. The reanimated version of Gregor has long lost consciousness, but after hearing his own brother, it seems he remembers something. He doesn't even listen to his creator. Cersei, after seeing this, doesn't dare say much and quickly flees. The two brothers, after a battle, the Hound grabs Gregor and jumps from the castle, dying together. As Cersei descends, she is caught by Jaime. The two old lovers embrace and cry. Then they help each other to the tunnel. When they reach the door, they find it blocked. The two hold each other tightly. The massacre of the city is finally over. Everywhere there are piles of corpses, a desolate scene. Grey Worm insists on killing the prisoners, saying it's the Queen's command. Snow does his best to stop him. Seeing Grey Worm is so stubborn, Snow gets up to find Daenerys. Watching Grey Worm kill the prisoners, his heart begins to waver. Was this battle right or wrong? Meanwhile, Tyrion, trembling with fear, goes to the tunnel. In the rubble, he finds his sister, Cersei, and his brother, Jaime. He slams his hand on the ground in grief, immediately regretting freeing Jaime. If he hadn't freed him, at worst he would have been imprisoned. Now he can't even keep his life. After 8 seasons, Daenerys finally reclaims the Iron Throne. You kept your promise to me. You would kill the men in iron suits for me. You would tear down their stone houses for me. You would protect the 7 kingdoms for me. You have liberated King's Landing from a tyrant. But the war is not over. We will not lay down our spears. We must rescue the people of the world. From Winterfell to Dorne, from Lannisport to Korth. Women, men and children have been exploited by history for too long. Will you agree to crush history with me? Snow and Tyrion, after hearing this, are stunned. In other words, the massacre of the people of King's Landing could continue. While all the soldiers are cheering and jumping for joy, Tyrion alone walks towards Daenerys. He freed his brother Jaime, which is treason. I freed my brother. You slaughtered a city. In front of everyone, he throws away the medal the Queen had given him. Then Tyrion, for freeing Jaime, is arrested by Daenerys. Snow stands by, watching coldly, his heart full of thoughts. At this time, Arya finds him. She reminds Snow to be careful of Daenerys. Snow's true identity is a powerful threat. I can smell a killer. Then Snow goes to the prison to visit Tyrion. Tyrion reminds Snow that Daenerys' path of liberating the world has just begun. Next, there will be more killing. King's Landing is the clearest proof. Moreover, his true identity is a huge threat to Daenerys. Even if he is loyal to Daenerys, what about his sister, Sansa? Looking at her, she cannot submit to Daenerys. So how will Daenerys handle it? He must quickly make a choice. For the 7 kingdoms, for all the innocent people, time is running out. After Snow hears this, although his expression is still loyal to Daenerys in his heart, he has wavered and is hesitant, because he wants to do the right thing. He has always done the right thing. Snow, after hesitating for a while, goes to find Daenerys. At this time, Daenerys is in the Great Hall of the Red Keep. She has finally seen the Iron Throne. It is just like she saw in the House of the Undying from the beginning. After 20 years, Daenerys has finally returned to this place. She reaches out to touch this chair. At this moment, Snow enters. He recounts to Daenerys the tragic scene of the massacre in the city, telling her not to kill people in the city like today and begging her to spare Tyrion. Daenerys calmly says, "We have no choice." Snow is confused. Then he kisses Daenerys and tells her, "You are my queen, now and always." After saying this, he takes a cold dagger and stabs it into Daenerys' body. Gradually, Daenerys' breath fades. Drogon seems to sense something. It flies over and gently nudges Daenerys, but she doesn't move at all. Drogon, enraged, rears its head and roars. Poor thing, what will it do now? The dragon intends to breathe fire at Snow. Snow is also ready to die. But Drogon breathes fire towards the Iron Throne, like thousands of swords piercing the cold chair. It's unknown how many people it has killed. Daenerys pursued it her whole life. Unfortunately, she never sat on it, even in death. Then, Drogon gently picks up Daenerys and flies away to a distant place. No one knows where it will go, but it will surely be the most beautiful place in Drogon's heart.